articulating my project with the focus of this conference, in 15 minutes, this presentation has aimed to problematize the official discourse about Chilean art music in the 30s and 40s, from the perspective of a composer. Understanding in this context the figure of the composer like a key actor for this discourse. And consider how this discourse confronted the expectations of the project of American hegemony. I'm not expert in identity, and I'm not a composer. Yet, from my point of view as a teacher, I would like to close this presentation by asking if in the formation of a Chilean composer in Chile, we consider these kinds of identity problems, their history, and their influence in the present. I don't know if this is important, but at least it is healthy to think about what we are and what is said about what we are. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you very much. We're going to open for a short round of questions. So maybe there's somebody who wants to add something or make a question.
Was too clear.
Well, Martin? Yep. There is another microphone there. Thank you.
Thanks for your presentation. Very nice. You mentioned that the meeting between Santa Cruz and the Disney crew was. We don't know many things about that meeting, but what do we know exactly? Can you expand more about? There were
documents?
some documents, some reviews.
Exists an official register of the American government. You know, all the agenda of Disney in Chile. But just that, so it's just I don't know. It's like an agenda. At that time, that activity with these persons, and no more. For Chile, not was an official activity, so we don't have a register about the conversation, the topics. I don't know, and the reason of Santa Cruz in that meeting, and just that. I think one little article in Ecran, a cinema review, was too short, like pictures with Disney with Agustin Edwards, father of that, or Agustin Edwards. And another thing is, sorry, I forgot a little interview of Pablo Garrido to Charles Walcott, the musician of Disney's project, but nothing more. So I have, for that reason, I tried to imagine the conversation and think a lot of things about it.
Another question?
Yeah, thank you for that. And I was thinking if you could say more what you think would have happened if maybe they had, you know, apart from the asking the question, what do you think? Do you think it might have changed in some way, like the perception of Chilean art music in those decades? Like for example, if you compare with the cases of Mexico or Brazil, where the main composers were sort of nationalist, and Chavez and Villalobos, and they used that aesthetic, which didn't happen in Chile. Do you think it would have changed in some way? And
yeah, I think I really don't know. I can't imagine precisely what could have been happening. I don't know, but I think that I think just the obvious answer, is I think that the composer would have remarked maybe the Mapuche topics. You have just a few composers talking or making music about Mapuche things, Mapuche topics, Mapuche resources, but a lot of times that is very, I don't know, it's very I don't know, superficial, I don't know. It's just a touristic picture about Mapuches. It's like a tun, 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 tun. Oh yes, the timpani is doing that. It's Mapuche. It's just a picture. I think that maybe that exaltation of touristic exaltation of Mapuches and another cultures could have been more worked, more promoted. I think maybe could be worse. Could have been worse. I think it's more. Maybe it's better to. We have to thank to Santa Cruz. Maybe I don't know. And that's all. I don't know how. Maybe the cases we can study the cases of Mexico, Brazil, and Argentina. And I think why, for example, and in USA universities in programs of Latin American music, they consider it music like estancias, malambo, I don't know, music too rhythmic of ginastera, for example, and not dodecaphonic music of ginastera. They wanted rhythm, emotion of Villalobos or nationalism, maybe. So, instead, after in the Cold War era, from present to present, the difference were more remarked. So, nationalism aspects were more remarked, more strong, I think. I don't know if I answered, but
I have another question. In your presentation and in your title, as I mentioned yesterday also, you speak directly about art music.
yeah.
So this is a very polemic topic, and we're going to watch a film about this afterwards. And I wanted to ask you, what do you think are the main arguments that you could give in favor of using this term, art music?
Yeah, I'm using just in historic way, in historic use of the term, because in this time existed very strong difference between Hollywood production of music and academic or university production of music or classical music. You know, were too remarked.
So in that sense, you would say, at least at the time, art music was a synonym of academic music?
Yeah, academic music.
Would be the same.
I don't know, because I don't know. I didn't study very well the model of education in USA music, but all these official activities with the government were with using the universities like platforms of action. I think Yale, Princeton, I don't know, but a lot of American universities were places to make music, make Latin American music and make investigation. And that.
In Chile, you worked at the Universidad Alberto Hurtado, right?
Yeah.
And could you tell us a little in what institution inside the university you are working, and maybe also the background of my question is that what has been your experience with your students in relation to this separation from popular music, art music, or these kind of things?
From my experience of director of a career of pedagogy of music, I tried in my lessons and in my project to think the music from problems. You have the problem of identity, problem of what is art, what not, problem of rituality of music, the sound, the sonority of music, more than a chord. Or I'm thinking in first year. So I try to express that idea to think in music from the problems. And after that, if you work in one lesson with Wagner and after with Britney Spears, for me it's not a problem. You can think in problems and after you decide what music do you think and make.
And your students are the music teachers,
music
school teachers of the
yes.
future in Chile?
I hope, yeah.
Okay, and to end, what would you think that is the main opinion of the students today who are trying to be music teachers about this topic? Do they think there is a clear separation between types of music, or?
I'm 38, and I have a lot of categories: metal, punk, electronic music, avant-garde, etc. They sit in their seats and just listen and just show it to me what they are listening, and can be I don't know, sometimes video, sometimes metal band, sometimes cumbia. I don't know. They have not prejudice. Yes, they are too free to listen music. I try to make my lessons with categories, but after I think that is not too useful. I think they receive conference from composers, from popular musicians, etc. I try to think that.
Great. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
A last question, please. The microphone there.
Oh, no.
And then we will prepare for Martin.
With the example of Violeta Parra, and also the other one of Day2, but especially of the one of Violeta Parra, came to my mind all these reconstruction and reversions of Violeta Parra today with the celebration of her centenary. And I'm wondering, what do you think about what are the boundaries between the authentic music in this kind of authentic between authentic Chilean music or authentic music in this sense, and the exotic or exoticized music? For example, in the case of Violeta Parra, is really striking in a way, putting this music in a. For example, there are, I don't know, or the case also in Day2. What are why that version with this orchestra of Javier Cugat is an exotic version of Day2 and the original is not, or both are, or what do you think about that?
No, I think that the Chilean music is too I don't know, too sobria. I don't know in English. Well, can it be like so no, it's not an attractive. The people buys fantasy. If you give, like Edward said when he said in Orientalism, if you give a real history about Persians or about Chinese people, it's too boring for people. People want fantasy, and in history, in movies, and all things. And if you offer Chilean music, it's not was attractive for this anxiety of spectacle. For that reason, all the versions that you can find of Chilean music outside of Chile suffered a lot of change according to modas, to trends, to consume. And in the case of Violeta Parra, it's too difficult for me because when you, I don't know, I'm not an expert in Violeta Parra. I know nothing about Violeta Parra, but I think in her trip to France, when she was to France and she took contact. She contacted the composers, real composers, academic composers, and she was a composer in another way, and she was very smart, and she negotiated her product, her creation, with that cause of avant-garde, but showing like a not avant-garde, like a spontaneous art, because she knew that was more easy to sell for survive. I don't know, and the people until now wants to believe that Violeta Parra is just a a farmer, that she was very innocent, that she was savage, and no, that's the exotic size, the exotic product. You know, Violeta Parra. Violeta Parra was an intellectual and creator. You know, she was she's a woman. That is another problem, a big problem. And the lectures of Violeta Parra are multiple, and I don't know. We can discuss with a beer, I think. It's too much time for
Thank you very much.
I don't want to
Juan Carlos.
speak too much. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Juan.